Now, I shared this little farm in the Peak District some time ago, and it was being marketed around £700,000. But now it's heading to auction with a guide price of around £550,000, and that change alone makes it worth having another look at. It's a traditional stone farmhouse with a large detached barn and around 23 acres of land, set in a beautiful rural location. And this time we've got more detail to work with, better photos, a floor plan, and a clearer picture of what's actually on offer. So in this video, let's reassess the property and consider whether this new price represents real value. Now, since this property was last listed, the price position has changed significantly, and it's now being offered for sale by auction. Now, that can create opportunities, but it also changes who can realistically buy, because you're going to need cash. So in this video, we'll take another look at the property, we'll review the new information available, and consider whether this little farm might be worth it in today's market. Okay, so I wanted to take another look at this property. You may well have seen this property on the channel before. I did feature it a while back. And at that point, it was £700,000 was the asking price. And it did look expensive, particularly when there was other properties with similar acreage, much bigger homes, modernised. But yeah, there's a lot of potential with this, and it has just been reduced with a guide price of £550,000, and it is now going to auction. So that means that some people, it won't be for some people. But I thought it was worth doing a quick follow-up on this. There was a few more photos that the agents have added in when they've reduced it just on the 10th of March. I'll talk about the property, the potential here. There's some floor plans as well that I don't think were available when I first reviewed it, and we'll talk about the auction as well. So this is quite a large small holding. I think it's got 23 acres. It comes with a fairly modest and traditional farmhouse that needs full modernisation, but it also has a very large two-storey barn that has got real potential as well to either be reused as barns or converted into other accommodation or holiday lets or otherwise. But this is located, I believe, in the Peak District National Park with stunning surroundings. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the photos. So yeah, we've got a traditional stone farmhouse, like you could call it a chocolate box house, with a lovely front garden to it, and you've got kind of lean-to storage separate storage adjacent to the house. And these are the barns. Again, I don't think the barns look too bad a state. These roofs don't look too bad, though. Obviously, you need to have your own surveys done on that. But there's the main stone barn, and then there's a more modern agricultural type barn attached to it as well. So this is around the rear of the house. So there aren't any windows, I don't believe, on the rear of the house. I don't think it's a very deep house. But you've got some mature trees and other gardens overgrown around the back, and then other garden features. I suspect these photos were taken some time ago, and it's probably a bit more overgrown than this. It's not being lived in. But yeah, here's the location. So lovely setting here, and up in the kind of I want to call it moorland, but yeah, so fairly rough looking ground, lots of fences and gates, so it looks like it's been sort of well defined, well contained along its own access, long driveway here, and as I say, traditional stone barn. There's various other storage to the rear, and this kind of additional bit of storage. There's a bit of a greenhouse as well at the front. But I think this is a lovely setting, really nice gardens that go with the house, and then they benefit the barns. Now, even if you don't do anything with the land, I love the fact that this kind of property is right in the centre of your own land, and you can kind of control and protect the views, protect what happens to it. And you're also protected somewhat, I believe, by the national park status. Okay, another view here of the gardens, overlooking the countryside, and the views across the valley. Yeah, lovely spot this. But again, the ground's looking pretty unmaintained. Got some stone walls as well, which is great, but quite a maintenance challenge. Okay, so here is the floor plan. As I say, you come in from the road up here. I guess this is shared access or an access over this track, and then you've got the track that runs through your own land down to the farm. It's called Moorside Farm, so I think it was fair in calling it the Moors. But yeah, as I say, you're kind of within the property. There's no other houses around you, and yeah, I think this is a nice little escape from the world. More shots of the moorland and the land. And again, this is your kind of driveway. I guess this is a gravel driveway. Need to think about access and so on if you're going to be doing this place up and getting deliveries down here. I don't know if it's just an issue with the photo, but this barn does look a little bit lopsided. Don't know if there's something going on structurally there, or whether it's just the photo and the way that it's been taken. And again, this looks like a bit of a lean-to with an open fronted section here with a bit of greenhouse. But yeah, I think you get a clever architect come up with something really cool to turn this into another dwelling, or just yeah, some additional living space. Okay, so yeah, these are the shot over the land. So yeah, you're in a very rural area here. This is the access track coming down through the land. Great approach to the property, and this is the farmhouse and the barn down here, and your land, if I'm looking at it correctly, is kind of this large section here. Beautiful setting this. Okay, so inside the house. So it's not terrible, it's not a wreck, but it definitely needs modernising. It's got radiators by the looks of it, so it looks like it's got central heating. These look like fairly modern double glazed. If they might be timber, you'd have to check that out for yourselves. We'll see what it says in the listing. Very traditional, but I'm not like completely ruined kitchen. With a very traditional range that looks like that's probably providing the heating to the house as well via these pipes here. And then you've got the stairs off the kitchen, so yeah, not ideal, but very traditional sort of flagstone flooring in here as well. Love all these hooks. I don't know what they're hanging off of here, is it? I can just imagine them hanging pheasants or something like that off of these. So yeah, you've got a number of small bedrooms, small windows as well. You need to make sure you understand, how this has been rendered or plastered internally with this stone building. If the walls are able to breathe. Another little bedroom here, again with a radiator in it. Little bathroom, not sure if that's upstairs. I think it probably is, looking at the size of that window. But yeah, very traditional, but yeah, looks like it could be modernised. And another external image there. So let's just have a look at the floor plans then. We'll start with the house and then we'll have a look at the barn. So yeah, you've got the porch, you've got the lounge, you've got the dining kitchen area, pantry off of that, and then externally you've got store and workshop through those little doors. And then upstairs you've got a large landing or a long landing and two bedrooms, not very big, and then a shared bathroom. So whether you want to extend this property, obviously you need to get planning consent for that, or whether you're happy with a little two-bed traditional cottage. I think this would suit a number of different people. So yeah, farmhouse with detached barn of 23 acres. So I was just editing this video and I realised that I'd completely forgotten to talk about the floor plan for the barn and the potential that is on offer there. So let's just have a quick look at that. So yeah, it's a two-storey barn. On the ground floor, you've got two sort of larger barns either end of the barn, and a couple of storerooms. And then you've got what they're calling a garage. Now that's what I was referring to as the kind of lean-to on the front of the barn. So yeah, that's a decent size in itself, 4 by 4 meters. And then the barn itself is you've got some pretty large spaces there. And so that's, I think that you've got two parts to it. So looks like the original barn, including the garage, the kind of stone part is here. And then this bit on the end is the bit that's got sort of brick bottom and wrinkly tin sides above it. And then upstairs you've got the original part of the barn. You've got a hay barn and another barn, it says, on the first floor. And you've got some steps leading up to this door here. So, and then this is calling it a loft. So that's again in that the newer section of barn. But yeah, you've got a really large area and a lot of floor space in this barn here. So if you didn't want to use it for agricultural purposes, you may be able to get planning consent to convert this into living accommodation. It is in the Peak District National Park. I have checked that. So there will be some constraints on planning, but I think if you've got a clever architect and a planning consultant, you could probably get permission to develop this in some way. But yeah, just wanted to include that part of the floor plan in this video. Development potential subject to permission, in need of modernisation, and it is now going to auction. So they were trying at £700,000, didn't obviously get much interest, I can imagine, and it is now going to auction with a guide price of £550,000. Whether it makes much more than that, I don't know. I will try and put a reminder in my diary to have a look at that, and I will do a quick follow-up. But it's going to auction on the 18th of May. A traditional auction. Let's just see if there's anything else. It does benefit from oil-fired central heating. So I don't know if that range is doing the heating then or not, or maybe just hot water. It says septic tank drainage, oil-fired central heating, water from a well, mains electric. But it says that you need to pay a 10% deposit on the fall of the hammer. So yeah, all in all, not unreasonable buyer's fees, to be honest. So I've seen a lot worse. So if you did end up buying it online and it was obviously going to go for more than 100,000, then you're looking at £1,500 including VAT, buyer's fees, which I don't think is unreasonable. So we'll just have a quick look at where it's located. So we're just outside of Worslow, and I guess we're probably just outside of the Peak District National Park as well. We're just south of that. So they've located this on Worslow, which is brilliant, but it's not where the property is. We just have a quick look. So we've got things like, we've got pubs here, we've got primary school, we've got a few Airbnbs by the look of it, but a fairly modest little village here. And then just on the outskirts, you have got where are we? We're actually up here. So if we look at where Worslow is, this is the road, Leek Road, leading out of it, and this is the access road off of Leek Road, and then comes down to the farmhouse here, surrounded by those mature trees, and then the barn. And as I say, I think the land, if we sort of trace it, probably comes around here. But yeah, I think interesting on this, really interesting. I'd be interested to see what this goes for at auction, if at all. It's a lot of money for people to come up with at auction. Obviously, there are ways that you can fund this if you don't have the cash. A lot of people aren't going to be able to come up with the cash to buy this, which is a real shame, because I think there's a lot of people that could really breathe some life back into this if they were able to. So be interesting to see who's got the cash and whether it actually sells at auction, and how much it goes for. But yeah, really interested to know what you guys think. As I say, you may have seen this before, but does this make it more attractive that it's they've reduced the guide price and it's going to auction? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoy these videos, you can support me and the channel in a number of ways, so please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like and comment on the videos. This is all free and I really appreciate it. If you wanted to thank me, you could always click on the thanks button, just like poor No Pigeon did this week. Much appreciated, mate. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with anyone dreaming of a countryside escape. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss any future dream small holdings. You can find details of all the properties featured at smallholdingfarms.co.uk. There's a link on the channel page. See you in the next one.